Welcome to lesson 3 of We Wish You a Merry Christmas for the Bagpipes. Thanks so much for joining me. If you want more details on the workshop, feel free to click on the link below. However, this is a free lesson and we're going to start on the high F. And there's only one F on the chanter, so low F or high F. Either way, we're starting on the F. And I'll just play through and stop on that F that we're starting on so you know where we are in the tune. So that's that F we're starting on. Similar to the last lesson, we have two notes right in a row and we need to separate with them with something. So even if you're not into embellishments, I know you can do this one. We're on the F, which is pinkies up on the bottom hand, or bottom hand's in that low A position. The rest of the fingers are on. Top hand, thumb is on the back, top finger's on the hole, the other two fingers are up off their holes. There's our F. We're going to do an F strike. So what is an F strike? We're striking down not with both fingers, just with that middle finger. The ring finger does nothing. It just keeps hanging out. That's our F strike. As I mentioned in previous lessons with the low A strike, try not to go so fast that you miss that hole completely. However, usually this hole's a little bit easier to do that strike on compared to the pinky finger down there. It takes a while for that brain to coordinate to that pinky finger. So this strike, I know you can do this one. So let's go on. Where do we go from there? So from there, oh, we're hitting G. So this is new. We haven't done this note yet in this tune. So we do our strike, and then we're going up to G. So we're actually going to lift that top finger off the hole. The only digit that's on the hole of the top hand is the thumb on the back. All the other fingers are off. That's our G. And we actually end up right back where we started. So we're at the G, then we drop the first finger back to the F. So let me play that nice and slow. And then we're going to drop one more note down to the E, which again is a pretty easy transition. And before we go farther, I want to just a couple options on embellishments for that bit. So instead of where we start with that F strike, the music I found, which again is in the workshop link below, they do a grip, a F grip. So if you're working on grips or you want the challenge, you can do a grip. You're going to drop down the pinky finger of the bottom hand and the top two fingers that are off their holes. They all drop down to the low G. You do a grace note up and down with the D grace note. That's the top finger of the bottom hand. And then you go right back up to that F. That's kind of the slow motion version. So that's how it'd sound with the grip in there. To be honest, I do the strike. I like the strike. But I get to that F with a doubling. Now this F doubling isn't too complicated, so maybe I'll just walk through this doubling for you. So in the previous lesson we ended on low A, so we're on our low A. From that low A, we need to get up to F. So that's an option. You can just go from low A up to F by lifting those two fingers and then do your strike and away you go. I like to get there, however, with the F doubling. So I like that F doubling. So what is that F doubling? I'll just break it down for you. So the F doubling, we're going to go to the G very quickly. Then we drop down that top finger. And then we do one more grace note. So that kind of gives it that double sound, that doubling sound. So again, lifting up to the G, top finger comes down quite quickly, and then right away, a grace note up and down with that top finger. That's kind of the slow motion version. So some options there. Choose the embellishment you like. Fix up this, add all the desserts and fixings to this tune as you see fit, as your fingers can handle. There's no pressure to do extra embellishments. You can always keep it on, just do that strike. But just to give you some options, because I know in the sheet music I've found that I don't do the grip, I do a doubling then a strike. So just to give you the option that it just sounds good to my ear. So where do we go from here? We have just a few notes left to go in this phrase, and then we'll add it to the lesson 1 and 2 that we worked on there. So from that E, we're going to drop down to D, and that's a tricky transition, but we've worked on that in the last lesson. So if you need that broken down, just hop over to that previous lesson. And I don't know if we've done this before in this tune where we've gone from D to B. So we have to lift the pinky finger of the bottom hand. At the same time, we're dropping the top 2 fingers of the bottom hand. So really that ring finger of the bottom hand just stays off the holes the whole time, going from D to B. And that can be a tricky one. It's not a lot from the top to the bottom hand or anything like that, but all your fingers are off the hole for a moment there, and that can, if you're learning, that can kind of freak your fingers out. So be patient with yourself with that one. I will say, don't make the fingers do all the work, just doing up and down. You can kind of rotate your wrist a little bit with that movement, almost like you're opening a doorknob. So that's kind of another trick for some of those movements of the bottom hand, especially when all the fingers are off the hole like that. So that's the little phrase we've worked on here. Let me add it in nice and slow to lesson 1 and 2 here for you, so you can hear in context what you have so far. And then we'll be moving on, going through the rest of the tune in the following lessons 4 to 8. And I hope to see you there in the workshop. Very excited that you've made it this far. Congratulations for tackling a Christmas tune on the bagpipes. And again, the link's below if you'd like to continue on to lesson 4. So here we go. This is what we've got so far. And on we will go. So see you in the next lesson.